This is Joe Wayne with the ACP 313. That's right, the anti-COINTELPROShow.com is back. And, yeah, the outraged left, the unhinged, masochistic millennials, all these throngs of mob up masses of meanies. I mean, really, that's really, oh my God, these terminal outraged individuals. Yeah, they are, to be quite honest with you, they are throwing the temper tantrum of all temper tantrums, and they've miscalculated, folks. They have completely miscalculated. And let me tell you why. And you really can't blame them. I mean, for years and years and years, for decade after decade, every 2, 4, 6 years, every administration, right, left, it does not matter. They have utilized the same MO, or the same modus operandi, and that is to stamp their feet and throw themselves on the ground, flail around with their lefty limbs like they do, in complete disattachment to reality. Now, when they do this, of course, it has the opposite effect. Because we are not China in the 1920s and 30s. No, Mao is not going to run roughshod over the American people. We actually do go by a different set of rules. And let me emphasize rules. Because we are the grown-ups in the room. You see, we here in the great state of America, we are heading toward a state of complete idiocracy. That's right. Real life has caught up to Hollywood in pretty quick order. So, as the political outraged deep, dark state establishment on the right, left, and Imagine Center, as they do what they always do. Fear, fear, fear all the time. Day in, day out, 24/7. They are forcing the viewing public to ingest a strict diet of fear and hate, because they think in their warped, sense of reality, which is actually unreality, kind of like 7-Up and the Uncola. That's right, the left and the deep dark state is unreality, or anti-reality, kind of like antimatter, right? Kind of like us. We're not counterintelligence, we are anti-counterintelligence. So that being said, they do what they do, we do what we do. And the reason they have been able to maintain the illusion of power, make no bones about it, folks, it is completely due to election fraud and voter fraud on the part of the deep dark state and all of their little minions running around screaming and throwing temper tantrums around the country. So the grown-ups in the room, of course, we take notice, like we took notice in 2016. Now they continue to prevaricate, and they continue to cry foul when they know they are fighting a smile. I mean, they're laughing their ass off inside while they are spouting their lies, right? That's what they do. They're smirking and laughing as they're calling you racist and bigot, and they're making fun of your mental issues if you have some. I don't believe Kanye has any. I believe that was foisted down on him to control him. Yeah, how'd that work for you, Hollyweird? How did that work for you, lunatic left? So, the first problem, the first and most overt problem, the most in-your-face problem, the biggest 800-pound gorilla problem that is sitting down right on top of you. Well, let me tell you what that is. The first problem is, well, the left and why they continue the same MO of outrage and mob violence whenever they are losing or have lost. They do it because the right does not reciprocate. Do you feel me? Whenever they act up and act out, we don't ever give them a taste of their own medicine, and they know this. Because like our leader has said, and still says, and this still remains true, this one thing above all else. This is a rigged system. This is indeed a rigged system, folks. Or it has been. They never banked on one Donald John Trump attaining all of the levers of power. Because in the past, they had their puppets on the left, and they had their puppets on the right, and they had their puppets in the imagined center. But they were all their puppets. Every 2, 4, 6 years, for House members and, local mayors and, let's say governors, there's a 2-year term. Then, of course, you have 4-year terms for the president and 6-year terms for the senators. So every 2, 4, 6 years, they do the same thing. Fear, 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 hate, hate, hate. Violence, violence, violence. Just like ISIS, the left, the deep dark state, is trying to once again intimidating us into handing over political power to them. Not going to happen. And let me tell you why it's not going to happen. Because when Obama left office, he signed into law, a new little law or an executive order that the Fed was now going to be at the polls. Yeah, guess what? Now Donald Trump's in charge of the Fed. And now he is asserting his full power. He has finally ascended and grown into his full power as the president. Not only the president, but he's one of us, guys. Make no bones about it, he's one of us. So now we are, after the midterms, let's be honest, folks, we're about to clean house. And we are just, being kind to and we're giving the never Trumpers that weren't on board, we're giving them one last chance to get on board and join the Trump train, right? I mean, just, you need to get both hands in bear hug type fashion, wrap your head around what's going on and what's about to happen. Now, you can either continue to resist, and you will, most assuredly pay for your crimes, whatever those crimes may be. Because now we have one of us at the White House talking like we talk, saying what we say. That's why we don't mind when he tweets, because we tweet. So, and we don't have to get approval by this handler or that handler. Neither does our president anymore. So, yeah, that's their major problem. Their major problem is that, we are finally fighting back, where we never fought back before, because we always had one of the political puppet parasites in office, right? And they were working for either Soros or the Koch brothers, or Tom Steyer, or one of the, just evil billionaires out there, right? Jeff Bezos. So they're working for one side or the other. The politicians get a little richer, but the billionaires get a lot richer, playing us all against each other, right? Playing both sides against the imagined middle. So that's the crux of it. For so long, we never reciprocated. We never joined the fight on the right. We never got down in the gutter with them and fought as dirty as they fought on the left. Get ready. Get ready, because the times, they are changing. So that's the first big issue. We have one of us that resides at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We have one of us. When I say one of us, I mean a real live person, a real live alpha in the real live world. We have one of us. We have a human being, not a political puppet parasite, in control of the White House, in control now of the Congress and Senate. We have one of ours in control now. We have a businessman at the helm, running this country like a business. And he's making a profit, because he's used to working in the real world. And in the real world, if you don't make a profit, you lose your job. If you do not serve those who put you where you are, you get fired, you get canned, you don't have a legacy for your progeny to prosper off of in the future. Your name is mud. But in the political world, nope, you just change allegiances like some change their underwear. You stick your little bony, parasitical finger in the air to see which way the political winds are blowing, and you jump on board with that winning side, or that winning side, or this winning side, knowing it's all a lie. Because you are the only one that perpetually wins, and the American people are the only ones that perpetually lose and perpetually fund all of the lies and all of the hate and all of the, let's just call a spade for a spade, all of the tools that any foreign entity, any invading horde needs to take this country over. And that's exactly what's happening. Or it was. Until we finally stood up in 2016 and said, no, but hell no. You will not go any further left. Obama did everything he could, folks, starting with Obamacare, to destroy this country. Remember? Yeah, remember Obamacare, where you could not work a full-time job. If you were a kid, you had to work 2 or 3 jobs. You didn't have benefits because everything was penalized by Obama, trying to force you to buy something you never wanted or needed. Lying to you, telling you you could keep your doctor and that rates were going to go down. And they never told us that a website would cost billions of dollars, or that the ones designing the website and getting the kickbacks were Michelle Obama's college roommates. Never told us that, did you? So now we have one of ours in office, one of ours that tells the truth, one of ours that we can depend on, one of ours that is trying to grow this country, not kill this country. Right? Like Obama did and the left did, trying to fundamentally transform this country, and they thought they did, but without our consent. And that's where they screwed up. You see, Donald Trump, being a business genius, being a media mogul, having his finger on the pulse of the American heartbeat, he knew, because he listened, that he talked like we talked, because he thought like we thought. And he's been saying the same things as we have been saying for the past 30 plus years. So that's the other major part of it. We're fighting back. We're getting down in the gutter with you. We're gonna fight fire with fire. And guess what? Our fire has righteous indignation. Our course is just. And we will win. That's right. You want to know why we will win and why we always win? Because unlike the left, and they're not liberals, stop calling them liberals. They're leftists. They're hardcore thug leftists. There are no moderates in the DNC or the left wing of this vulture, this bird of death and destruction that preys on the weak and infirm to pick their bones clean and then fly to the next victim. That's what the deep dark state is. That's what the DNC is. That's what the Rhino Republicans that are in bed, you know, those neocon establishment assholes that are, that are finally starting to wake up and smell the coffee. Yeah, because they're finally starting to come over to, the lighter side of life, right? And when I say light, I don't mean light in substance. I mean light as in good, as in right. That's what I mean when I say light right. Good, and it's right, and we are right. So they have two major things to contend with at this point. That is the American people and our need to stand and fight against tyranny. Yeah, it's ingrained in our very DNA, folks. No bones about that. DNA has memory. So they're taking on us, and for the first time in history, we have one of our own in power. Not lying to our face and then stabbing us in the back, but saying what we say and standing with us and beside us, and not trying to destroy everything that is good and fair in this world that God created. This is Joe Wayne.